Oh, yeah. That was the only time I've had to have police here.
Same night with the
Julie DeBosch.
Yeah.
That's the one that we went to court with.
Yeah.
We won.
good. Who's needing to be escorted out?
Yeah. Well, we could start.
Close.
Yeah, we could start.
Close.
And she's last on the agenda.
All right, I'll call the Sheriff County Planning and Zoning Committee public hearing to order. We will look at the public hearing applications. First one we will look at is conditional use. I suppose I better read this first, huh?
Yep.
My bad. I call the meeting to order, Planning and Zoning Committee. This meeting will begin with public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or their representative wishing to speak must register and submit their registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the hearing, we will conduct our monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decisions. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of the decision can sign a sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for the hearing the applications is as follows. After each application is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the committee. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak, as well as anyone objecting will also have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the committee's field observations and any staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone at the front of the podium there, state their name and direct their comments to the committee. I ask that all testimony be kept brief, no more than 5 minutes, and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded and the recording will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all the properties and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal to the circuit court. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. In the far corner is Dave Bossard, Pat King, my name is Robert Wadle, Todd Waller, our zoning administrator, and Becky Hubach, acting as the secretary tonight. First one we will consider is Thomas and Lindsay Monticelli, correct? Wild Rose, Wisconsin, has made an application for conditional use in accordance with section 58-236, paragraph 18, and section 58-454, paragraph 11 of the Washington County zoning code to establish a dog kennel. Maximum 7 adult dogs with no boarding, grooming, breeding, or training will be utilizing an existing kennel building in the AG5 General Ag Zone. Location: an 8-acre parcel of land known as part of the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter, Lot 1, Certified Survey Map 6088, Section 14, Town 20 North, Range 10 East, Town of Rose, address M6162, County Road A. Would you like to come up and tell us what you guys are up to? And there'll be a few questions, nothing real. First,
Sure. So we submitted the application for a kennel license to house our existing 7 dogs, 5 of which are hunting dogs, which you all saw when you toured the property yesterday. Those are housed outside. 2 of which are Labrador retrievers. Those are in-house dogs, family pets. So as you can see by the application documents submitted, I did also include a letter in that package which explained really the purpose of the dogs, how they're cared for, and how they're residing on the property. As stated, we do not intend to do any commercial kenneling, breeding, or grooming on the property. So any questions?
There'll be a few. Talk to the neighbors about this, or is there any concerns from the neighbors?
There's no concerns from the neighbors in the 4 homes closest to us. There's over 20 dogs total within our block. So lots of dog owners. The closest property to ours is the 5-acre parcel, which is owned by family, extended family, and they're very familiar with the animals and even help us out when we travel.
Other state permits?
The only other thing I was aware of was the health inspection, which we did successfully obtain that certificate already. She was out and viewed the property, so everything was up to par.
All out there yesterday, so.
Mhm.
I was just curious, you go with the dogs when they go hunting, or do you? are you
Yes.
part of the deal?
Yeah, I'm part of the deal. My husband's part of the deal. So the 2 Labrador retrievers, one is primarily a house dog. We never have really hunted him. The youngest, which is 6 months now, will be a bird dog. So his intention will be, pheasants, waterfowl, and so forth. My husband and I are both outdoors people and are hunting avidly. The 5 hounds are primarily used for black bear hunting in Wisconsin, although we do have hopes to take them out west for additional bear and mountain lion opportunities as well. So they're all trained by us. We've worked with them and we will continue to do so.
Got a few other,
Thank you.
there's something at the end, you have a chance for rebuttal. Correspondence.
We have not received any correspondence, nor do we have anybody registered to speak in favor, objecting, or even informational.
All right, staff comment.
Okay, for the record, everyone should have a copy, a final draft of all the reports for tonight. For the record, staff prepares a report that goes on to the committee. It'll summarize the request, provides a little project history, provides the on-site notes or comments from yesterday's on-sites, and then also provides a recommendation. Just real briefly, the applicants, Thomas and Lindsay Monticelli, are requesting a conditional use to conditionally establish a dog kennel, maximum of 7 adult dogs with no breeding, grooming, or training, and will be utilizing an existing kennel building on their property, which is AG5 in the town of Rose. Property in question is a 7.5-acre tract of land located immediately east of County Road AA. Should be noted that the kennel is well over 300 foot away from adjacent residences. As a matter of fact, the closest residence is over 600 feet to the south. County Health Department did recently conduct a pre-licensing inspection, and per the inspection, there were no comments or objections. There was a note that all dogs appear to be well fed and sheltered. The committee visited the property at the recent onsite on Wednesday, February 14th, and were generally supportive of the request for conditional use. The committee felt that the site and accommodations were very clean and that the animals were well cared for. There were no other comments or concerns. Staff 2 has reviewed this request and poses no objection. A kennel at this location fits the narrative and uses permitted within an AG zoning district, subject to specific conditions. More specifically, through the conditional use process, the county just wants to make sure that the animals, and their kennels are properly inspected and licensed and are maintained, for the betterment and welfare of the animals. While the committee will be making a recommendation on this request later in the evening, staff is recommending approval of the conditional use subject to the conditions listed.
Do you have anything else to say at this time, or pretty much summed it up? All right. The next one, application is for Kelly Sand and Gravel, Watoma, Wisconsin, has made an right?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Application for a conditional use in accordance with section 58-454, paragraph 15 of the Washera County Code to conditionally establish a display area for rock, stone, and hardscape landscape materials to be stored and sold to the public in the AG General Ag Zone. Location, a 40-acre parcel of land known as the west half of the northwest quarter, northwest of Highway 22, except Lot 1, certified survey map 6202, section 23, town 19 north, range 10 east, town of Watoma, address N3587 State Road 22. Come up and give us your pep talk, speech.
Is it a pep talk? Adam Kelly, owner and president, Kelly Sand and Gravel. As everybody here on the board knows, I applied for the conditional use permit to clear an area and gravel, install bins, sell a lot of the same materials that we already sell at Kelly Sand and Gravel, which has been established in the county for 56 years. I guess between the plans that we submitted and the, I guess for a better sake of word, landscape plan as well, I hope I've painted the picture and I'm here for any questions.
Just a couple of basic ones. Have you talked to the adjoining landowners and neighbors? Got any concerns or?
We formed a pretty good relationship over the last 56 years with some of the people who are still there and or their offspring or relatives. I did have 2 phone calls from neighbors that I haven't met. One being about a quarter mile north of the gravel pit, and it was 2 brothers who are, I believe, in the process of building a house. They wanted to know if I planned on putting another driveway entrance in, was their biggest concern. Told them no, and that we wouldn't be getting permission to ever do that anyways, with certain distances required on a state highway. They asked what materials we'd be selling, and they ended up asking if they would be able, like as a public or resident of the county, be able to stop in if they need materials in the process of moving onto their property. And of course, the answer to that was yes. And then Pomplin across the street stopped in the other day to ask some questions, and once again asked if he was going to be able to come and get some materials. A few of the other neighbors I called when I was having these plans come up, and just like any other time, it seems like that as long as we've been taking into consideration the noise factor and the people who have houses out there who want to enjoy privacy and enjoy quiet time and stuff, everybody seemed to have voiced their opinion of being in favor of this. I didn't have anybody end up saying that they were disgruntled or against it, but
Have you talked to the town board about it?
I did bring it up in a town board meeting as a quick note. It was in regards to letting each township know that there was an asphalt plant out there, and one that's going to be there for a while, it seems, to potentially generate some savings for each township with a local asphalt plant. But it was in pretty quick conversation with Jeff Nett and Bob Van. I didn't get any.
Is that your asphalt plant or someone's just in the pit?
That's Northeast Asphalt has an asphalt plant out there, and that was brought in for Highway 21 this last year and successfully completed 21. And I think they have a couple projects coming up this spring inside the county that they plan on firing up again. So.
Do you have any questions about it?
No.
All right. Let's see.
Thank you.
Any correspondence?
We have no correspondence, nor do we have anybody registered to speak.
For or against?
For, against, or even information. Sorry.
Staff comments.
Okay. Similar to the last report, just like to give a quick little summary. The applicant, Adam Kelly, is requesting a conditional use to conditionally establish a display area for rock, stone, and hardscape landscape materials to be stored and sold to the public in an AG general agricultural zone in the town of Wautoma. Property in question is approximate 300 foot by 385 foot area located along the west side of State Route 22, immediately north of the entrance drive into the existing 75-acre non-metallic mine owned by Kelly Sand and Gravel. Like to point out that over the past few years, Adam has been improving the entrance into the drive, clearing some trees, installation of a 2-way gravel driveway, and scale. Applicants now proposing to create a small outdoor storage display area just immediately north of that, off of the entrance drive. Applicant has been working very closely with the DNR regarding the stormwater requirements, as well as the county regarding overall layout and screening to visually enhance the entrance into the mine. Committee did visit the property at the recent on-site yesterday and were generally supportive of the request for conditional use. Committee felt that the applicant had done an exceptional job preparing drawings and doing his homework with the DNR, and that this was an appropriate use of this location abutting State Route 21. There were no other questions and or concerns raised. Staff too has reviewed this request and believes that the creation of a small outdoor storage and display area commonly mined landscape materials from the existing pit, as well as we've identified, some additional landscaping materials would be appropriate at this location. As traffic is directed internal to the property before any turning or pickup maneuvers are performed, this development should not pose any safety or traffic hazards out onto State Route 22. Staff also believes the applicant has gone to great lengths working with us to ensure that that entrance is going to be enhanced, for visual aspects. While the county will be making a recommendation, or committee will be making a formal recommendation on this later in the evening, staff is recommending approval of the conditional use subject to the conditions listed.
Have anything else to add at this time, Adam?
In regards to that question of making sure materials would make it out on State Highway 22.
Yep.
I made some phone calls today and had multiple people point out to me, well, why don't you asphalt the apron? I think that as long as I get you to come 30 feet in with 40 feet in with hot mix asphalt.
Yep.
I think that'll be a good spot to get rid of materials off that stuff to make sure.
And keep in mind, we just amended the code too, so it's all roadways now, and that all aprons can be asphalt, not concrete. So, yep, just work with Brian.
Final application tonight is Michael and Nadine Seymour, Plainfield, Wisconsin, has made an application for conditional use in accordance with section 58-236, paragraph 18, section 58-454, paragraph 11 of the Waushara County zoning code to establish a dog kennel, maximum 12 adult dogs with no boarding, grooming, breeding, or training, AG general ag zone. Location, an approximate 2-acre parcel of land known as a part of the southeast border of the northwest border, lot 1, certified survey map 3095, section 24, town 20 north, range 08 east, town of Plainfield, Wisconsin. Address W12361 Apache Road. Tell us what you're up to.
Hi there.
Hi.
Well, we show dogs, so we have multiple dogs at our home that are being shown. And after finding horrible living conditions at a co-owner's home last October, the dogs are no longer rotating from house to house, and they're staying at our house. So my kids show all over the country. We show all over the country. We show at Westminster in New York. We show down in Florida. The dogs are well taken care of. I have no intentions of doing any breeding right now. In the future, we may have a few litters of St. Bernards, but as of right now, there's nothing. So
I'll ask you the same question.
Yeah.
as The other two applicants, have you talked to the neighbors about this? Close by neighbors, not the ones 20 miles away.
we're the
Close by.
we're the only house on our road, and Jim Mortensen that farms behind us is actually very supportive of the kids and the dogs. He's helped sponsor my older daughter going to Westminster Kennel Club. I know the Weeklies that bought the tree farm right across from us, and there's no issues that I know of.
Chance to talk to the town board about this application, or?
I did not talk to the town board about it. I talked to Linda about it to get some information as to where to go, because this all came about really fast after we came home from a national.
That's all I have. Anybody have any questions for the applicant?
I noticed you have one line of fence. Is your intention to fence in an area for the dogs?
Yes, we have the one fenced in area on the east side of the property, and we have a plan drawn up and a deposit with security fence to do the south side of the property. We're just on the waiting list to get that done.
You said that yesterday, I think.
Yes,
You mentioned
yep,
that.
yeah. Yeah, it's about $10,000 worth of fencing to put up for them. Yep. So that's why I was a little bit late getting here, as we were outside with the dogs and just running them and throwing balls and playing with them, our afternoon activities.
Anything from you, Dave?
Just the one question regarding the possible condition. When we were on the site, we did discuss that cargo container and the fact that
Yes,
that
yes.
has to be,
That is just
it's not allowed.
Yeah, that is just temporarily there because my mother passed away. We sold her house. I had to get things from her garage and basement put somewhere temporarily. So they're in there. We're in the process of getting things moved out and just moved. So
So
it's,
if this is approved, one of the conditions would be that that would be removed by June 1st. Is that a feasible
oh yeah,
deadline for?
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
we've started moving things out already.
all right.
Have a big room still.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's mom's things. But yeah,
That's all the questions this time. You can have a seat.
okay.
Right,
Okay.
Correspondence?
We have no correspondence nor registrants to speak in favor, objecting, or informational.
Staff comments?
Okay, and for the last application, just a summary of the request. The applicants, Michael and Nadine Seymour, are requesting a conditional use to conditionally establish a dog kennel for a maximum of 12 adult dogs with no breeding, grooming, or training in an AG general agricultural zone in the town of Plainfield. Property in question is a 2-acre parcel located along the south side of Apache Road, approximately 800 feet west of 6th Drive. Should be noted that the property in question is well over 900 feet from the nearest residence, so more than adhering to our minimum 300-foot standard. County Health Department recently conducted a pre-licensing inspection. Per said the pre-inspection, there were no comments or objections. All dogs appeared to be well-fed and sheltered. All certificates and vaccine records were current. Now, the committee visited the property at the recent on-site on Wednesday and were generally supportive of the request for conditional use as they felt a dog kennel at this location was appropriate. The committee, however, did have a few concerns based upon observations of the property and premises. Given the sheer number of animals in the home and the fact there were no designated outdoor kennels, the committee recommended that an annual inspection be performed by the county health department to ensure that the animals are well cared for and that their space remain clean. In addition, it was observed that a cargo container was present at the time of the onsite. While it appeared the container was being used appropriately for transport and delivery of personal items, the committee just wanted to ensure that it was removed within an acceptable time frame and did not remain as a storage vessel permanently. In addition, a relatively new accessory building was noted in the rear yard, and based upon check of county records, there was no evidence of any building permits being pulled. The applicant shall be responsible for obtaining an after-the-fact land use permit to properly document permit said structure. Staff has reviewed this request and poses no objections, similar to the previous kennel. We just want to make sure that with regard to inspections, that the property and the animals are properly cared for, and that they're properly licensed, and that obviously for the betterment and welfare of the animals. Staff is recommending approval of the conditional use, subject to the conditions listed in your report. I'd just like to identify the three, one of which we've already addressed. The existing cargo container shall be removed from the property by June 1st. And then a separate after-the-fact land use permit is required for the existing accessory structure located in the rear yard. And the applicant shall have until June 1st to obtain said permit. And then number 8 is, given the sheer number of animals living in the residence, the county health department shall perform an annual inspection to ensure the house is kept in a sanitary manner and that all animals are well cared for. The applicant is responsible for scheduling all inspections and shall provide copies of any and all inspections to the zoning office to ensure compliance.
Do you have anything else to add this time? So
I'll give you my card. You can we can do it right online. Take a picture of it. We'll identify it on a site plan, and then that'll handle the after the fact land use permit. I'll talk to you right afterward. Unfortunately, they don't. Yep.
we'll call the regular meeting to.
Oh, I have just the
Oh, I'm
text
sorry.
amendments,
Something else
the text amendments. So you want to just,
that's on here.
Yeah.
To me. Or you want to talk about those now?
yeah,
Okay, go
Yep.
ahead.
Yep. So, I'll be as brief as possible. Usually we, schedule this meeting just for text amendments. However, we just have a few, for this year. I just wanted to identify those. We're proposing 3 chapters to be amended slightly. That's chapters 8, which is the building code, uniform dwelling code section, chapter 42, which is our subdivision code, and then chapter 58, which is the zoning code. Just real briefly, the first one, the only item dealing with the building code, there was one section, if you recall, last year, we amended the code to specify square footage and dollar amounts. There was one section that was observed that we had omitted. I'm just asking that we correct the code so that everything is consistent throughout. As far as the subdivision code, I am suggesting a couple changes, and that's based upon statute 236, which is the governing statute pertaining to subdivisions and certified survey maps. There was a time frame specified in our code, always has been 10 years. The statute 236 specifies a time of 5 years. So we're amending our code to be consistent there. I'm sure Dave is well aware of that. Same thing as we go down to section 42.8, the minor subdivisions and major subdivisions. Once again, just amending it from 10 years to 5 years. And then lastly, in 42.11, the exceptions. We always required certified maps for any land splits. Per the statutes is that if a land split is done where no new lots are being created and it's done between 2 adjoining landowners, they could do it by way of a legal description. So we're amending the code, just striking that provision that a certified survey map is required. And then as we get into 42.48, which dealing with the certified survey map, we're just asking that the certified survey map include an owner's certificate signed off and approved by the owner. And that also that the certified survey map include property identifications, numbers, which are pins, for each lot being subdivided. And lastly, the only change we have this year to the subdivision, or excuse me, the zoning ordinance is 58-168, permitting of wireless communication facilities. We actually had, and it was actually Tom, I know, who worked pretty diligently on this. We had a situation where a existing cell tower, the light went faulty and it went to a default mode that rather than red, it went to a clear strobe, which was hitting all the property owners down below, and it was quite bright. It wasn't until Tom had actually notified the cell tower company that they realized that they had a faulty light that has since been changed out. The one thing, though, that we wanted to, just because of the concerns and the complaints we got from the adjoining residents, is to put a shield on the bottom of these. So Tom did some, and Tom Barker did some research, identified a code where Vilas County actually had recommended in theirs that they put a guard underneath the lights to prevent the lights from casting shadows downward or lights downward. So we're just amending the code, just asking that said lighting shall be shielded, causing light rays to be cast upward, resulting in minimum hazard disturbance to surrounding vehicular traffic or recreational traffic on the ground within a radius of 5 times the structure height above grade unless otherwise required by federal or state regulations, and that any security lighting used to illuminate the compound shall also be shielded to direct light rays downward to keep the light within the boundaries of the site. And that summarizes our changes.
Next, the roll call will show that Art is on vacation and John is already at large, I guess, or unavailable.
Yeah.
With that said, move to approve the agenda is in order.
So we'll,
Motion by Pat, is there a second?
Second?
Second by Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. We all have received a copy of the prior minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, a motion is in order to approve those.
Motion to approve?
second,
Dave, second by Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. No unfinished business, new business. Action on public hearing applications and 2024 text amendments. The first one. Thomas and Lindsay Monticelli. How do you feel, gentlemen?
I would-
Motion.
Second?
Motion to approve and second. Who would like to read the reasons for approval?
Possible approval reasons. The requested, excuse me, maybe you should read. I'm
You're not.
having trouble.
Good. They-
I
Dave,
can
you
do
want
it.
to do it?
Sure. The requested application, if approved, will be consistent with the spirit and intent of the zoning code and will not be contrary to the public interest because after reviewing the application and considering all related testimony, the application, if approved with conditions, will not harm the public or neighboring land uses, and the proposal matches the lot and available area.
All right, any conditions?
Therefore, the requested application, if approved, the following conditions shall apply. The development must be in substantial compliance with the site plan and testimony provided at the public hearing. All other required setbacks and all other codes must be complied with. A land use permit will be required for any future enclosures or outside kennel buildings. The applicant will allow agents of Waushara County access to the property to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. The kennel must be maintained in accordance with the standards of the county humane officer, the Waushara County Public Health Department, and the Animal Control Code. All required licenses shall be obtained from the county clerk's office, and a copy of the license be forwarded to the zoning office. There will be no commercial boarding or training of dogs permitted. The applicant is responsible for complying with any other applicable local, state, and federal regulations. And all kennels and runs must be at least 300 feet from any home other than the applicant's and at least 50 feet from any well. All animal waste shall be disposed of in a sanitary manner, and the maximum number of dogs shall not exceed 7.
All right, I will now ask for a roll call vote. Dave,
Approve?
Pat,
Yes, approve.
myself approve. Motion is to approve it. Next one will be for Kelly Sand and Gravel.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Pat. Would you like to read the conditions on this one, Dave, as well?
Sure. The requested application, if approved, will be consistent with the spirit and intent of the zoning code and will not be contrary to the public interest because after reviewing the application and considering all related testimony, the application, if approved with conditions, will not harm the public or neighboring land uses. Visibility is good at the driveway location and there are no public safety issues, and the proposal matches the lot and available area.
All right, conditions?
Therefore, the requested application, if approved, the following conditions shall apply. The development must be in substantial compliance with the site plan and testimony provided at the public hearing. All other required setbacks and all other codes must be complied with. All permits must be obtained, including a land use permit for all proposed improvements to the site. Adequate parking must be provided. The applicant shall submit copies of all stormwater plans and stormwater permits from the DNR to the zoning office. The applicant will allow agents of Waushara County access to the property to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations, and any advertising signs must be in accordance with all county and state requirements.
All right, you've heard the reasons and the conditions. What are your wishes, gentlemen?
Yes, approve?
Yes.
Heard the most, and myself, yes. Application is approved. Third and final one for Michael and Nadine Seymour.
Motion. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Reasons?
I'll give it a try. The requested application, if approved, will be consistent with the spirit and intent of the zoning code. It will not be contrary to the public interest because After reviewing the application and considering all related testimony, the application, if approved with conditions, will not harm the public or neighboring land use. The proposal matches the lot and available area.
All right, conditions?
Therefore, the requested application, if approved, the following conditions shall apply. Development must be in substantial compliance with the site plan and the testimony provided at the public hearing. All the required setbacks and all other codes must be complied with. A land use permit will be required for any future enclosures or outside kennel buildings. A separate after-the-fact land use permit is required for the existing accessory structure located in the rear yard. The applicant shall have until June 1st, 2024 to obtain said permit. Existing cargo containers shall be removed from the property by June 1st, 2024. The applicant will allow agents of Ventura County access to the property to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. The kennel home must be maintained in accordance with the standards of the county humane officer, the Ventura County Public Health Department, and the Animal Control Code. Given the sheer number of animals and living in the residence, the county health department shall perform an annual inspection to ensure the house is kept in a sanitary manner and that the animals are well cared for. The application, is responsible for scheduling all inspections and shall provide copies of any and all inspections to the zoning office to ensure compliance. All required licenses shall obtain from the county clerk office, and a copy of the license be forwarded to the zoning office. No commercial boarding or or training of dogs is permitted. The applicant is responsible for complying with any other applicable local, state, and federal regulations. All kennels and runs shall be at least 300 feet from the house other than the applicant's and at least 50 feet from any well. All animal waste shall be disposed of in a sanitary manner. The maximum number of adult dogs shall not exceed 12. The failure to comply with any of the listed conditions can result in a recommendation from the zoning office to rescind the conditional use.
Okay, you've heard the reasons and the conditions. How do you vote, gentlemen? Dave?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Applicant is approved. Next item, the 2024 text amendments. You've all heard a preview of what that was and have a written copy in front of you as well.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Any extensions of land use permits to date?
Nope.
Okay, review and action on requests for minor changes to previously approved public hearing applications.
We have none.
None. Next month's public hearing applications for time and route planning purposes.
We have two conditional use requests presently and one minor amendment to a conditional use.
Zone change,
Oh, and we have a
zone
zone,
change and a used home.
a zone, yes.
So there's four?
Yep.
So we'll go first?
No,
Jeff?
No.
we have a zone change, a
Okay.
conditional
And
use,
then,
a minor amendment to a conditional
Okay.
use. And that's it. But Wednesday is the deadline, right? I think 21st.
oh,
So we still have a
could
couple.
still be more
Correct.
coming in?
Yep. So we definitely have a meeting, and you guys will have to fight with Kevin to see who goes first, but we also have an item. No, they're going to go first just because it was one that was tabled. We only have one item. Yeah.
I can wait. Anything else that can come before this public hearing and meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Once more. Fire starting. I definitely. Where do you want?